But other than that, you don't really get much more from because you're doing the classes. After spending a little time in the foyer, sort of poking around, receptionist sort of gets you to go in the right direction. Can't really refuse her anymore without it looking too suspicious. So off you go to class, and then off you go back outside, and then there's really no reason for you to be there anymore, so you kind of gotta leave. Um, it's security inside the place is, well, it doesn't look like it's really secure at all. It's just sort of a standard office building. There's no particular rent-a-cop sitting anywhere. No Horizon security. No real security guards of any kind. That said, it is just a two-story building. It's a squat, small building. It's nothing spectacular. And it's, I don't know, it feels like something no one would ever hit. I mean, I'm sure everywhere, somewhere, there's someone wants someone dead or someone wants someone kidnapped, but it just doesn't feel like a place that anyone would ever hit, so you guess security's kind of loose there. But other than that, I mean, it's close to actual secure places, so security would probably be fairly quick in response, but nothing on site.
Interesting.
You're just going to do the same thing again second day? And is there anything anyone else wanted to do during that time?
Does the flight school actually have like their business hours posted for when they the building closes?
Yeah, there's posted business hours. That said, it's not actually open to the public. Like, you've got to already be signed up to go inside. So they check, the receptionist checks IDs right at the door. Like, she'll check your SIN as you come in. Oh, that does bring me to something I didn't need to make sure to ask. What SIN did you use to do that?
The rating 4 one.
Go ahead and roll that. Okay. What about so anyone else wanted to do anything on what was it, the 12th?
I wasn't.
While Twitch was doing that?
I wasn't. Suppose I wasn't finished. You see, now you made me lose my train of thought, GM. I blame you. Everyone's responsible but me. I'm old.
Well, I completely forgot what you were asking in the first place, or saying you were doing in the first place, so...
See, did you have anything that you wanted to do, Crimson?
Not really. I mean, with Coyote, it's just pretty much a lot of hurry up and wait.
Oh, here we go. I remember now. How visible is Okay, you said that the flight school was on the outskirts of the airport itself. I guess I wanted to know whether it actually had that a data search that could be done where the extraterritoriality begins. Like, how close could we in Coyote's van be to the flight school and still be in the PCC area?
Okay, the extraterritorial area itself is it's marked. That's something that you'll never really have to roll for. It's it's something you can always figure out some way or another. It's sometimes in some places it might be a little unclear, but it's usually fairly well marked. The closest PCC actual property would be about 2 blocks away. Everything within at least 2 blocks in some directions is a lot more. In some directions, in some directions is a lot more. But everything within at least 2 blocks is owned by Horizon. It's basically right outside the airport. You can walk to the airport from the school.
And when you say blocks, you mean, is that the usual 1/10 of a mile block, or is it something shorter?
Yeah, about 1/10 of a mile or something like that. It's, yeah, I guess we'll go with, if you need an exact distance, we'll go with 0.2 miles.
All right, so like 320 meters or something like that. I'm just thinking of signal strength.
Concern was actually how close I could be without, like, I assume that the moment you step onto the extraterritoriality, you're going to have to be broadcasting the comm links in one way or the other.
Yeah, essentially, if you're on extraterritorial property, you've got to be broadcasting your SIN. If you're nearby and you're not broadcasting, the corpse may actually harass you anyways, like try to bluff you into doing it, and most people it's just, okay, I'll do it if they haven't already. I mean, average person does it 24/7 anyways. But like a sinless, they'll run off a fair distance beyond what they actually own. A lot of this is sort of a little bit more unclear of exactly where Horizon's influences ends and where PCC's begins, because while the lines of who owns what is very clear, Horizon controls a lot more than their actual ownership would dictate, especially in this area.
All right. In that case, I think this would actually be something important to try to do some external surveillance around the exterior of the building, just to like catch people and observe their aura, see if anyone important or officious comes into the door. Truthsayer will cast improved invisibility on himself, and I suppose he's going to be lingering like around in corporate property. Maybe find some place that he can use, like some sort of wall that will try to, or maybe some sort of like alley, not an alley, but like a car or some sort of thing to obscure his aura from anyone viewing on the astral world. But he would definitely be trying to cast improved invisibility on himself multiple times to try to hide himself from cameras or sensors, and then see whether he can do some external review. I'll go ahead and start throwing down some fucking Force 5. I suppose before I do that, background count here?
0. This area is actually pretty neutral. There's nothing really important. There's nothing really toxic. It's just sort of blah.
Alright. Okay. Force 5 improved invisibility. Well, that's going to net 2 hits. That's not going to be good enough. 5 divided by 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. Let me go ahead and resist that. Alright, no drain test there. Let's try that again, but with more feeling. Well, there you go. I capped out at my Force 5 limit. And that's going to resist the drain. In that case, that's what Truthsayer will do. He'll do, like, external surveillance, using improved invisibility to hide himself. And just, flip between physical and astral for a sensing, just to try to find whether anyone, important or official is coming in. That'd definitely be something that he wouldn't mention to Coyote, like, bring, well, maybe not bring the drone, because it'll be so fucking invisible. The drone would have no chance of seeing him. He'll just keep his eyes out, maybe snap a picture of anyone that looks particularly important getting into or out of a vehicle. Someone who might look like they're important or interesting enough that they might know more about the elevator, and a way to provide backup for Twitch just in case. Shadowrunners live in a crazy world. Maybe something about her setting will go wrong.
So, how long are you doing that? Like, what are the hours you're doing that?
I suppose the hours that those are being done are the hours that Twitch is in the building. And when she leaves, Truthsayer will leave. But just so that she's not in there dangling on her own.
Right.
That would probably just be a couple of hours.
She'll appreciate that either way.
Yeah. But,
While they're doing this, Coyote is going to do one thing. He's going to set up whatever the 2072 equivalent of partitioning the storage on his drones and putting a separate operating system that mirrors the other one, but uses different logins and that type of thing, just as a user account type of thing. So if he does give this drone to either Truthsayer or Twitch, if another virus is put on it, he's not going to infect himself when he logs on the thing on the main account.
Well, the thing with that is, to do that, you'd have to rebuy the pilot. Because you need to relicense it.
Need to redo what?
To do that, like, you could do that, but you need to rebuy the pilot program for it. You need to essentially buy a second pilot program to have an entirely different OS on it.
That, or you'd be, like, cracking stuff. I don't know,
Yeah, either that or you have to crack or write your own pilot program.
Because they have copy protection on these.
Right, but I've only bought one pilot program for all my drones anyway, so I have it installed on like 9 operating systems.
Well, did you actually do that? Because each drone needs its own separate pilot program.
Well, I bought a version for like maneuver air, maneuver ground, maneuver sea, and that type of stuff. And
those are auto softs. If you hold on, let me open up real quick. If you go to your
I see what you're saying now. Yeah, I do have only the one that's on my main comlink. Yeah, that's right. But it would be on the comlink. It would be in that case, it would use whatever. It would either use an AutoSoft or whatever Truthsayer or Twitch or whomever has. It would use their pilot program.
But okay. Did you actually buy a pilot program on your comlink?
Yeah, the way I thought is that a program could be used for anything. So, I mean, you could just use that.
Okay. The pilot programs are... I don't see a pilot program listed on your comlink anywhere. The pilot programs are...
Maybe not. Maybe I put it on the drones then.
Yeah, the pilot programs are specific to the drone, and they're essentially the dog brain AI. The programs themselves can be... You can install them on any of your given drones, as long as you're keeping them so they're not talking to each other. They won't do anything about it because they're not actually online. But technically, that's not supposed to be how it works, or that's technically not how the copy protection is supposed to be allowed to do. Like, it's technically illegal to install multiple programs using the same same, what's the term for it? Product key. But with the pilot programs, you need to essentially duplicate the program, and because they would be on the same comlink, it would catch it automatically and not allow you to duplicate it unless you bought it again.
No. Okay. First of all, yeah, I did buy one. I misunderstood the question. I just want to think right. I did buy a pilot program for each one, but in this case, he's going to turn off. It's as if I had 2 versions of Windows whatever on my machine, and I'd only boot up the one I want. So they're never both going to be on at the same time. Because any other way, I mean, that's the safest method. So if you don't have that program running at all in a separate partition, it would have to be some wild and crazy virus that could somehow do that. I mean, I don't even know how you could do that.
Essentially, to do that, you'd have to reset up all your things every single time you turn it on, because the copy protection on these programs is a lot better than modern copy protection.
All right. Well, then I guess the first thing he's going to do is try to make his own pilot program, so he can just put that on there. And he won't have to deal with that copyright bullshit. So I don't know how long that'll take him. That'll have to be in the downtime. In that case, he is going to just reset everything on that. Any drone he's going to give to, he'll make a backup of it, like an ISO or something, whatever, of the of what he has currently on there. Take it off and put an entirely new one on that does not have his comlink settings or anything like that on it. And then he'll give it to him. Because basically, if he's going to give this away to someone and put it back on, he's going to delete it, do a full diagnostic, and put everything back on it so that no viruses can ever get to him the way that it happened before.
Okay, I'd have to figure out the details of that. That said, yeah, sure, you can essentially rewipe the pilot program every time you give it to someone, or just rewipe the hard drive every time you give it away to someone.
I mean, give it enough time. I mean, if it's like in the heat of the moment, he's not going to be able to do that, of course. But if he's got an hour or two, I figure he can pull it off.
Yeah, that'll just take a few extra minutes every single time you do it. So yeah, he can give that drone to anyone to use. Okay. From Truthsayer, I need first perception and a sensing. Both of those will be at the unless you're probably using your sustaining focus to sustain that spell, right? Or no, if you're casting at force 5, your sustaining focus is
my sustaining focus covers health spells. Improved invisibility doesn't even encompass that. No, they would all be at the -2 penalty.
And you're pretty much invisible on the physical, but stealth roll for the astral.
Okay. Let me go ahead and give you my perception roll. Let me go ahead and give you my sensing roll. And let me then go ahead and... well, there's no need for me to roll an infiltration, because with the -2 dice pool penalty, that would automatically fail.
Well, then you'll probably be sitting around for somewhere between 20 minutes and a half hour before Wandering Spirit just sort of speeds by and then stops and backs up and looks straight at you where you're hiding on the astral.
Well, considering that it failed, I'm not exactly sure he actually did that. Like, yeah, this is a good spot. He's like perched on top of a car or something.
I just imagine that you're probably like, where to hide? Life makes it harder to see things. Let's jump in a bush, and then you jump in like just a bush where you stick out like hell. Something like that. It's dead or something. But yeah, with your sensing and your perception, you'll notice it straight away. You'll sort of see it just sort of boom, back up and look straight at you. And that's like all instantaneous, like a split second. So, do you do anything right off the bat?
Well, the spirit being on the astral world, it obviously hasn't materialized, so it's just on the astral world. Or is it are they materialized? Or
No, this one's not materialized. For the most part, when spirits are patrolling, they don't really materialize because they can move a lot faster on the astral.
right, I thought so. In that case,
You can also tell that it's just a watcher.
Watcher can't actually do anything other than tell someone that I'm here.
Right.
The Watchers themselves also have like a range limit. Is that true, or can they go anywhere?
I'm pretty sure they can go anywhere. They have different rules for summoning. Like you can summon a ton of them, and they just last for a few hours, and that's it. They don't really do much of anything besides see stuff.
All right. In that case, given the fact that it's a Watcher that spotted him, what Truthsayer's actually first going to do then is he's going to force 5 mana bolt the thing before he leaves. As the thing sort of like skids to his which I can do because with the astral perception and a mana spell, I can target the thing just fine.
Yep. Go ahead and actually give me an intuition, or not intuition, an initiative roll.
Definitely do that. Give you my initiative roll. You do not have increased reflexes cast, so I only have 1 initiative pass. There you go. No hits again. Woo! I think that happened last week? Yeah, that happened last week.
Well, it doesn't matter because it gets better than that. Yeah, go ahead and roll for the attack.
Okay. Will go ahead and make my force 5 mana bolt roll, and score many hits. That's capped at 5, of course. What you're looking at there is 5 plus 5. Pretend you're looking at 10 damage before a resist roll.
Yeah, that'll obliterate it. That said, I didn't actually see that roll.
What? That was to ever... No. Oh, god damn it, I get disconnected. It hasn't told me yet.
That's strange.
I even saw your initiative test. That was made after I made the roll. And I have roll mode to everyone. I just checked. You got to see my initiative test. Did either of you see my attack roll?
No.
Nope.
I'll make it again. Let me see if you can see it this time. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Nope.
I didn't change anything on the token. I came in 3 minutes before the session started. I promise, Sean.
And you were making rolls just fine before that.
Let me try. Let me try another roll.
Can also someone else just throw anything?
I made a data search roll. Did that come across?
No.
No.
I saw Twitch's roll.
Did you see my initiative test?
I didn't see that, no.
Huh.
So suddenly I roll initiative, the GM is rolling initiative for some things, and then...
There it goes. Now it's disconnected you.
But how did it disconnect me like that? I saw Twitch's roll. I was on the server. I saw shit.
I have no idea what that was up with that.
I don't understand.
I really have no idea what's causing that. I seem to have fine connection. It's nowhere near maxed out. It's everything as far as I can see looks good. I just
Okay.
I just hate that one token.
Anyway, let me go ahead and I'll try to make my drain resistance test here. Does it get like any resist dice to subtract any of those hits, Sean?
Yeah, what would it normally roll? It's will, right?
Yeah, it will roll willpower, plus counterspelling if it had any. Probably equal to the damn creature's force, or force times 2 or something. Which for a Watcher I think is 1. Okay, that's good. That shaves that down to 4. 5 divided by 2 is 2, plus 4 is 6, resisting 6. Alright, that's only 2 stun. And after that happens, Truthsayer he's out of there. He's going to assume the worst, that the Watcher's death will trigger the apocalypse that will descend upon him. And his invisible ass is out of there.
Well, Watcher didn't get enough time to go off and do anything, so he'll get out there just fine. He's just go running for a few seconds, then slow to a walk, and just sort of sneak your ass out.
Yes, sneak. He's like fucking whistling as he's strolling down the sidewalk, completely invisible. Alright. Well, that makes perfect sense. Truthsayer certainly accepted that as a possibility, and he's come to realize that he's not as intelligent at positioning himself in good places as what he thought he was. He's like, I'm great at surveillance. Nope.
He's great at surveillance so long as it doesn't matter if they surveil him back.
He's great at perception. He's a really perceptive individual.
That's right. The only thing he's not perceptive about is good hiding places. Well, that Watcher's death is probably gonna be noticed sometime or another. Because they'll be like, where's blah 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 blah? It didn't come back. Oh shit. So, Truthsayer...
All spirit deaths are instantaneous notice.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's why Truthsayer bugged out, and, as capable as he would be at flinging mana bolts at Watchers until the cows come home, problem ends up being, if something bigger comes around. And so he's going to, he's just going to have to stay on sort of like PCC turf. Invisible, and sort of try to watch with, hanging near Coyote's vehicle from a distance. Well, Twitch isn't there.
Well, having skedaddled and everything, you don't really catch much more. You see another class go out, and then no one really seems to be important coming out there, and then Twitch's class will let out, and you're guessing you'll leave from what you said before?